Henry was a billionaire's only son. He was young, handsome, and full of pride. He lived in the city and worked in his father's company, but one weekend he traveled to the village to visit his uncle, who just had a new baby. The villagers celebrated the naming ceremony with food, music, and drinks. That same evening, Henry was invited to another party by some young villagers. It was supposed to be a simple gathering, but things got wild. Henry drank too much palm wine and local gin. His head was spinning, but he refused to stop drinking. Then a beautiful village girl caught his eye. Her name was Amara. She had just turned 19. She came to the party with her cousin and had never left the village all her life. Henry didn't know her name. He only knew she was pretty and innocent-looking. He walked up to her and started talking, sweet words rolling from his mouth like honey. Amara, shy and simple, smiled nervously. She had never been close to a rich man before. Her cousin warned her to be careful, but Amara said he looked nice. One thing led to another, and that night, in the darkness behind the mango tree, something happened that changed both of their lives. Henry left early the next morning. He didn't even say goodbye. He didn't remember what happened. He didn't even know her name. A month passed. Amara began to feel strange. She couldn't eat, couldn't work properly, and felt sick every morning. Her mother noticed the changes. One evening, her mother asked, "Amara, what's wrong with you?" Amara stayed quiet, but the next day, her mother found the truth. She screamed, "Who got you pregnant? Speak now." Amara shook her head. She didn't want to say it. She was scared. But her mother shouted louder, "It is a sin for a girl to carry a child and hide the father's name. You will be sent to the evil forest where cursed women stay if you don't speak." Tears rolled down Amara's eyes. Her voice broke as she whispered, "It was Henry, the billionaire's son who came from the city. We met at the party." Her mother was shocked. "Henry, the rich boy that came for the naming ceremony?" Amara nodded. Her mother didn't waste time. She grabbed Amara's hand and marched straight to Henry's uncle's house. The uncle was surprised and confused at first, but after listening to Amara's mother, his face changed. "So my nephew did this?" he asked in anger, and he left like nothing happened. He called Henry's father immediately and explained everything. Henry's father, a powerful and respected businessman in the city, was silent for a moment. Then he said, "Let her come to the city tomorrow. I can't allow my grandchild to be born in the village. We will do the right thing. My son must marry her." That night, Amara couldn't sleep. She had never been to the city. She didn't even know how to behave in a rich man's house. Her mother prayed all night, begging God to protect her daughter. The next morning, they traveled to the city. When they arrived at the billionaire's mansion, Amara's heart was beating fast. Henry came downstairs in his shorts and slippers, shocked to see Amara standing there. His father didn't waste time. "Henry, this is the girl you got pregnant. You will marry her. I will not let my blood grow up in shame." Henry shouted, "No! I don't even remember her." His father shouted back, "But you did it, and you will face the responsibility." Amara stood quietly, tears in her eyes. Henry looked at her, confused. Something about her face began to trigger a memory. Slowly it came back. The mango tree, the sweet perfume, her soft voice. He realized it was true. He had slept with her that night. His face dropped. The father ordered them to get married in 2 weeks. Amara was not treated like a guest. She was sent to the maid's quarters, given old clothes to wear, and treated like a disgrace. The billionaire's wife hated her. She believed Amara was a gold digger who trapped her son with pregnancy. Amara cried every night. Henry didn't speak to her. He ignored her like she was invisible. But deep down, he was angry at himself, not her. The shame of his action was too heavy. The wedding was rushed. Only a few people attended. Amara wore a borrowed gown. Henry didn't even smile. After the wedding, Amara was moved into a guest room in the mansion. She ate alone, walked alone, cried alone. The house felt like a prison. But she never complained. She prayed every night for peace and strength. One evening, as she was walking through the garden, Henry saw her from the balcony. For the first time, he really looked at her. She looked tired, weak, but still carried herself with quiet dignity. Something in his heart began to shift. He remembered how innocent she was that night. He remembered her soft laugh. He realized she wasn't the problem. He was. She didn't force anything. He was the one who got drunk and foolish. That night, he walked to her room and knocked. When Amara opened the door, she was shocked to see him. "I'm sorry," Henry said, "for everything." She stared at him. "You don't have to apologize. I'm fine." Henry looked away. "But I have to. I didn't even ask how you were. I just acted like it didn't happen. I'm sorry." Amara nodded and said, "I forgive you." That moment changed everything. For the first time, Henry sat beside her. They talked. They laughed a little. Slowly, they began to know each other, but just as things were starting to look better, something unexpected happened. That same week, Henry's mother, Mrs. Williams, stormed into Amara's room unannounced. She didn't knock. She didn't smile. Her eyes were full of anger. "You think you're clever, right? You trapped my son with this pregnancy just to enter our family. But let me tell you, I will never accept you as my daughter-in-law. Never." Amara stood still, shocked. She didn't say a word. She just looked at the floor. Mrs. Williams continued, "You will never be more than a village girl. I will make sure you regret ever stepping into this house." After she left, Amara sat on the bed, her hands trembling. She had been trying so hard to stay strong. But now the pain was too much. She ran to the toilet and vomited. Her baby was growing, but peace was far away. Later that night, Henry came to check on her. He found her crying in the dark. He switched on the light. "What happened?" Amara wiped her tears. "Nothing," she whispered. "You're lying. Someone hurt you again, right?" She didn't want to say, but Henry insisted. Finally, she said, "Your mum came to threaten me." Henry stood up angrily and walked straight to his mother's room. "Mum, why are you doing this? What did she do to you?" Mrs. Williams snapped, "I warned you. That girl is using this pregnancy to ruin your life. Don't be fooled." Henry replied, "No, Mum, I'm the one who ruined her life. I got drunk. I touched her. She never asked for any of this. And now she's here carrying my child, and you treat her like dirt. That's wicked." His father overheard the noise and came out. "What's going on?" Henry explained everything. Mr. Williams turned to his wife. "Enough is enough. That girl is now part of this family whether you like it or not. Respect her." Mrs. Williams hissed and walked back into her room. Henry went back to Amara and told her, "From now on, if anyone treats you badly, tell me." Henry started acting like a husband, at least in public. He still wasn't sure how he felt, but something inside him was softening. One weekend, he took Amara for her first prenatal checkup. The doctor smiled after the scan. "Your baby is healthy, strong heartbeat, about 3 months now." Amara smiled for the first time in weeks. Henry looked at her and smiled too. But trouble was coming. A rich, arrogant girl named Vanessa, who had always wanted to marry Henry, heard the news. She was furious. She had always believed she would become Henry's wife. Her father was a senator, and she believed no village girl could ever compete with her. She sent Henry a message. "How could you leave me for that thing from the bush?" Henry ignored her, but Vanessa didn't stop. One evening, Amara went to the supermarket with a driver. As she stepped out of the car, Vanessa walked up to her. "So you're the one carrying Henry's baby? You're even uglier than I imagined." Amara said nothing. Vanessa pushed her slightly. "Let me tell you something. I will make sure you disappear. Henry is mine. You're just a mistake, a dirty mistake." Amara's eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. She just walked back to the car and cried the whole ride home. That night, Henry saw the sadness in her eyes again. "What happened this time?" he asked. She told him everything. Henry was furious. "Vanessa?" She did that. He took his phone and called her immediately. "Vanessa, stay away from my wife. I mean it. One more insult and you'll hear from my lawyers. She's the mother of my child, and she deserves respect." Vanessa laughed. "So you're really in love with a villager?" "You've become weak." Henry replied, "No, I've become a man. And real men take responsibility." Days passed. Henry and Amara grew closer. He started joining her for dinner, asking about her village life, listening to her childhood stories. He found her innocence refreshing. She wasn't like the other girls he knew. She didn't want his money. She just wanted peace. One night, Amara had a terrible stomach pain. She screamed. Henry rushed her to the hospital. After hours of waiting, the doctor came out. She's fine now, it was stress, but she needs to be happy. If not, she may lose the baby. Henry was shaken. That moment made him realize he didn't want to lose her, or the child. He stayed with her in the hospital room, holding her hand all night. When she opened her eyes and saw him sleeping by her side, she smiled. But trouble was not over. Back in the village, Amara's childhood friend, Chidi, heard she was now married to a billionaire's son. Jealous and bitter, he started spreading lies. Amara was not innocent, he told people. She planned it all. She trapped Henry. I even saw her with another man before she got pregnant. The news started flying. One day Henry got a message with screenshots of fake chats and pictures. It was sent by someone anonymous. The message said, "Your wife is not who you think she is. Ask her about Chidi." Henry's face darkened. He looked at Amara, who was in the kitchen humming to herself. He walked in and asked quietly, "Who is Chidi?" Amara stood still. Her heartbeat became loud. She turned slowly and faced Henry. "Chidi," she said, confused. "Yes. Who is he? Someone sent me a message and pictures saying you had something with him before you got pregnant." Henry's tone was low but firm. Tears welled up in Amara's eyes. "He's lying. Chidi was my childhood friend, that's all. He always liked me, but I never liked him back. When I got pregnant, he came to my house, begging my mother to force me to marry him instead. But I said no. He's been angry ever since." Henry looked into her eyes. He wanted to believe her, but doubt was already crawling into his heart. "So you're saying you never—" "Never," Amara shouted. "I've only ever been with you. That night under the mango tree was the first and only time I've been with a man." Henry was silent. Amara walked closer, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I know I'm not rich. I know I'm not classy. But I'm not a liar. And I'm not a cheat. You may not love me, but please don't believe them. I've suffered enough." Henry saw the pain in her face. For the first time, he saw the real damage his silence had done. She had been carrying shame, rejection, and insults, all alone. He reached out and pulled her into a hug. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I didn't know who to believe. But looking at you now, I know you're telling the truth." Amara cried into his chest as he held her tightly. The next morning, Henry drove to the village without telling anyone. He went straight to Chidi's house. Chidi was sitting under a tree, drinking palm wine. When he saw Henry, he laughed. "So the city boy is here. Come to see the truth about your village wife?" Henry didn't waste time. "Why are you lying against my wife?" Chidi smirked. "You mean your trapper? That girl played you, my friend. She used you to escape poverty." Henry stepped forward. "I don't care what you say. I only came to warn you. One more lie from your mouth, and I will make sure you answer to the law." Chidi stood up, angry. "You can't threaten me." Henry brought out his phone. "Say one more word, and I'll call the police." Chidi's face changed immediately. Fear entered his eyes. "Please, don't do this." Henry put the phone back in his pocket. "Stay away from my wife." He returned to the city and didn't tell Amara what happened. He just came home, walked to her room, kissed her forehead, and said, "I handled it." 2 weeks later, Henry surprised her with something unbelievable. He organized a small baby shower just for her, decorated the backyard with flowers, and invited only a few kind people. Amara couldn't believe her eyes. "Is this for me?" she asked, shocked. Henry smiled. "Yes. You deserve more, but this is just the beginning." But just when life was becoming beautiful, something terrible happened. Henry's father collapsed at the office. He was rushed to the hospital. After several tests, the doctor called the family in. He had a mild stroke. He needs complete rest. No business stress for now. Henry had to take over the company full-time. But there was a problem. Henry's cousin, Gerald, who had been managing some parts of the business before, became angry. "So now that Uncle is sick, you just step in and take everything," he complained. Henry ignored him, focusing on saving the company. But Gerald had other plans. One evening, Amara was alone at home when Gerald came to visit. He smiled and acted nice. "I came to check on you," he said. Amara welcomed him politely, but as soon as the housemaid left the room, Gerald's smile changed. He moved closer and said something shocking. "You're beautiful, Amara. Too beautiful for a village girl. I've always liked you. Why settle for Henry when you can have me? Amara stood up immediately. You're mad. Leave my house now. Gerald laughed. You're brave. But be careful. I can destroy you and your baby with just one lie. Think about it. He left. Amara was trembling. She waited for Henry to come back and told him everything. Henry was angry. That idiot came here to disrespect you? He picked up his phone and called Gerald. Stay away from my wife or I'll finish you. Gerald laughed on the phone. You think you're strong? Watch your back. From that day, strange things started happening at the company. Fake documents appeared. Money went missing. Henry was blamed. People started whispering, maybe he's not ready to lead. One night, police came to the mansion with a search warrant. We received a report of fraud involving the Williams Group. We're here to check some files. Amara panicked. Henry stayed calm, but inside his heart was breaking. Someone was trying to destroy him. Later that week, Gerald held a secret meeting with some board members, claiming Henry was reckless. He married a poor, illiterate village girl. Now the company is under investigation. He's not fit to lead. That wife of his is a witch. Henry had to fight to clear his name. But he didn't know who he could trust anymore. Amara stood by him like a rock, supporting him every step. No matter what happens, she said, I believe in you. Vanessa wasn't done. Ever since Henry warned her to stay away from Amara, she had been boiling with anger. She couldn't believe that Henry, the man she had flaunted to her friends as her future husband, had chosen a bush girl over her. A girl with no fashion sense, no class. Just because she got pregnant. Vanessa felt insulted, so she made up her mind. If she couldn't have Henry, then she would destroy him and the girl that stole him. She started working behind the scenes. First, she got close to Gerald, Henry's angry cousin. She offered to help him bring Henry down. You want the company? I want Henry out of this life, she said. Gerald laughed. We want the same thing. Together, they made a wicked plan. Vanessa contacted some corrupt journalists and paid them to publish fake news stories about Amara. Headlines like, Henry Williams married a gold digger who was once a village prostitute, and billionaire's wife secretly dated cousin before pregnancy began to appear online. The pictures were fake, but they spread fast. The media had a field day. Social media was worse. People insulted Amara. Some called her names she had never even heard before. Henry came home one evening and found Amara curled up on the bed, sobbing. Her phone was beside her, open to one of the news blogs. Henry, they're saying horrible things about me. I didn't do any of these things. I swear Henry's face was red with anger. He picked up her phone, scrolled through the lies and slammed it on the table. Enough is enough. I know who's behind this. He left the room immediately and drove to Vanessa's house. When Vanessa opened the door, she smiled, wearing a short silk gown. Well, look who came running back. Henry didn't smile. He didn't enter. Take down every lie. Call your people. End this nonsense now. Vanessa folded her arms. Why? So you can go back to your bushwife and live happily ever after. Never. You hurt me, Henry, and now you're paying the price. That girl destroyed everything. Henry stepped closer. No, Vanessa, you destroyed everything, with your pride and jealousy. What you're doing is evil, and I won't let you win. Vanessa's voice cracked. I loved you. Henry replied, No, you loved my name, my money, my position. That girl you insult has more dignity than you ever had. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. You'll regret this. Henry turned away. Number you will. That night, Henry made a public statement on his verified social media page. He wrote, The lies being spread about my wife are false. She is a good woman with a clean heart. I stand by her fully. We will not be bullied. Anyone sharing these fake stories will face legal consequences. Thank you. His words shocked many people. Some began to take down the posts. Some apologized. But Vanessa and Gerald refused to back down. Gerald called Vanessa. We need something bigger, something that will shake him to the ground. Vanessa smiled. I have an idea. 2 days later, police arrived at Henry's office with an arrest warrant. They said he was involved in a major fraud linked to government funds. Henry was handcuffed in front of his staff. The news spread like fire. Amara was at home when she got the call. "Ma, your husband has been arrested." She collapsed. They rushed her to the hospital. The doctor said her blood pressure was too high. "She needs rest. She's almost due. Any more stress could harm the baby." When Henry was released on bail, he came straight to the hospital. Seeing Amara on the bed, weak and pale, broke him. "This is all my fault," he said, holding her hand. Amara shook her head. "No, it's not. We'll fight this together." Henry hired the best lawyers and investigators. Slowly, they uncovered the truth. All the fake documents used to accuse him were traced back to Gerald. They also found out Vanessa funded the entire media scandal. Henry's father, now recovering at home, called for an emergency board meeting. During the meeting, Mr. Williams stood up. "I may be old and recovering, but I'm not blind. Gerald, Vanessa, both of you tried to destroy my son. And you," he pointed at Gerald, "you wanted the company so badly, you were ready to unalive your own blood's reputation. You're fired. You are supposed to be in jail, but I will let this slide before of your late father. And Vanessa, your father will hear everything." Gerald was thrown out of the company. Vanessa's family was embarrassed. Her father called Henry and begged for mercy. The next month, Amara gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The moment Henry carried his son in his arms, something inside him melted. "You're the reason I changed," he whispered. He turned to Amara, tears in his eyes. "Thank you for not giving up on me." They named the child Nathaniel, meaning gift of God. But just as peace was finally returning to their lives, another storm was quietly rising. One evening, as Amara was breastfeeding baby Nathaniel in the nursery, Henry received an urgent call from his lawyer. "Henry," the voice said, "we just discovered something strange. Your signature was found on a land document for a property you never bought, and the company account has been used again. Someone is still trying to destroy you." Henry's heart sank. "But Gerald is gone. Vanessa too. Who else could it be?" The lawyer replied, "We're still investigating. But it's someone close, someone who still has access." Henry dropped the call and looked around. He couldn't trust anyone anymore. He increased security at the house and installed cameras even inside the office. He told Amara everything. She was shocked but calm. "Whatever happens," she said, "don't let fear control you. Just stay focused. We'll be okay." That same night, Henry received a message on his private phone from an unknown number. It read, "Your son is not safe. Watch your back, Mr. Billionaire." Henry ran to the nursery. Amara was rocking Nathaniel to sleep. Henry didn't tell her what the message said. He just stayed there all night, holding his son, watching every shadow that moved. The next day, Henry's father called him. "Son, there's something I didn't tell you. Years ago, before I became rich, I made enemies in the business world. Some of them lost everything and blamed me. One of them, Edwin Nagy, swore he'd make sure our family never knew peace." Henry sat forward. "You think he's behind all this?" Mr. Williams nodded slowly. "It's possible. He's dangerous. And I just heard he came back into the country last week." Henry's eyes darkened. "Then I need to find him before he finds us." While all this was going on, Vanessa was secretly watching everything. She was no longer in the picture, but she was still obsessed. She had created a fake online account where she followed Amara's daily life, pictures of the baby, happy moments, celebrations. Jealousy burned her soul. One night, drunk and angry, she made a dangerous decision. She sent an email to Edwin Nagy, the man Mr. Williams feared most. The email said, "If you really want to hurt the Williams family, I can help. I know all their weaknesses, especially the girl and the baby." She hit send. 2 days later, strange men were seen loitering near Henry's mansion. The security guards noticed but thought they were just street beggars. Until one night, they made their move. At 2 a.m., while the whole house was asleep, 4 masked men jumped the back fence. They made it into the compound and headed straight to the nursery. But as they opened the window, a loud alarm went off. Henry, who had been sleeping lightly, grabbed his phone and checked the camera alert. He saw the masked men. He shouted, "Security! Wake up, we're under attack." The guards rushed out, chased 2 of the men down and caught them. The other 2 escaped. When police arrived, the 2 captured men refused to speak. But one of them had a phone, and on it there was a voice message from Vanessa. Make it quick, no witnesses. That was all the police needed. They arrested Vanessa the next morning. She denied everything at first, but the evidence was clear. The news broke all over the country. Senator's daughter arrested for attempted kidnapping of billionaire's son. Her father resigned from politics out of shame. Back at the mansion, Amara sat beside Henry. "Why do people hate us so much?" she asked. Henry looked at her gently. "Because you came from nothing. And now you have everything. And some people just can't stand to see a woman like you win." Amara smiled faintly. "But I didn't want anything. I only wanted peace." Henry took her hand. "And now you'll have it. I promise." But Henry knew it was time to end the games. He hired the best security firm in the country. He launched a private investigation into Edwin Nagy. If that man was truly behind everything, Henry would expose him. He also brought Amara's mother to the city for her safety. The woman was treated like a queen. For the first time in her life, she slept on a soft bed with air conditioning. One Sunday morning, after church, Henry surprised Amara with a ring. "I know we're already married, but I never proposed properly," he said. "This time, I want to do it right." He knelt down, holding a diamond ring. "Amara, I didn't choose you the first time. Life pushed us together. But today, I'm choosing you. Will you marry me again?" Amara covered her mouth in shock. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She nodded. "Yes, yes, I will." But deep in the shadows, Edwin Nagy was watching, and he was planning his next move. It was a cool Monday morning. The house was calm. Amara was in the kitchen helping the cook prepare breakfast when Henry's mother, Mrs. Williams, walked in. She stood at the entrance for a few seconds, watching silently, her eyes full of bitterness. Amara turned around and greeted her politely. "Good morning, Ma." Mrs. Williams didn't respond. Instead, she took a deep breath and said something that shook the walls of Amara's heart. "You're a witch," she said coldly. "Since my son married you, it's been one problem after another. First your pregnancy, then your village drama, then the police case. Now kidnappers. You even brought your poor, ugly mother to this house. This is the reason I never liked you people. Poor people always like to take advantage of the rich." Amara stood still, her chest rising slowly as she tried to keep calm. Her eyes stung with tears, but she refused to cry. With a soft but firm voice, Amara replied, "With all due respect, Ma, I love my husband so much. I'm not with him because of his money. I never asked him for anything. I never forced myself into this family. I came here because I was carrying his child. He made the decision to marry me. I didn't beg." Mrs. Williams hissed. "Spare me those sweet words. You girls know how to act humble and innocent. But I see right through you. Your mother came here with her wrapper and her plastic slippers like this house is a village market. What do you people want from us?" Amara's voice trembled, but she stood her ground. "My mother came here because your son invited her. She has done nothing wrong. She raised me alone after my father died. She taught me to be respectful, to serve others, to be content with what I have. I will not allow anyone to insult her." Mrs. Williams clapped slowly in mockery. "Very good. So now you have mouth, Abi. You're no longer the quiet bush girl I first saw. You think you have arrived?" Amara wiped a tear and said, "Ma, if defending myself and my mother makes me disrespectful in your eyes, then I am sorry. But I will never allow anyone to drag our name in the mud again. I may be poor, but I'm not worthless. I am your son's wife, whether you like it or not. And I deserve to be treated with respect." Mrs. Williams' eyes widened in shock. For the first time, the girl she thought was weak had spoken up. "You're becoming bold, Amara. Don't forget, you are still a visitor in this house." "I'm not a visitor," Amara said. "I'm his wife, and I'm here to stay." Just then, Henry walked into the kitchen. He had heard everything from the corridor. He looked at his mother and said calmly, "Mum, why are you always trying to push my wife away?" Mrs. Williams turned to him. "So you're now defending her against your own mother?" Henry nodded. "Yes. Because she's the only one who stood by me when the whole world turned against me. She's the mother of my child, and she deserves peace in her own home." Mrs. Williams folded her arms. "So now I'm the problem?" "No, Mum," Henry replied. "The problem is pride. You want to control everything and everyone. But this is not your marriage, it's mine." She turned angrily and walked out of the kitchen without another word. Henry walked to Amara and hugged her gently. "I'm sorry you had to go through that again. You don't deserve this." Amara held back her tears. "I just want to live in peace. I'm tired of fighting." Henry kissed her forehead. "I know, and I promise no one will treat you like this again. Not even my mother." Later that day, Henry sat down with his mother in the living room. "Mum," he said, "if you can't respect my wife, I'll ask you to leave this house for a while." She gasped. "You'll throw your own mother out?" Henry nodded slowly. "For my family's peace, yes." Mrs. Williams looked at him long and hard. Then she stood up and said, "You've changed." Henry replied, "No, I've grown." She picked up her bag and left the mansion with pride, but deep inside she felt shaken. Her son had chosen his wife over her, and for the first time she began to wonder, maybe she had gone too far. Gerald sat alone in a dark corner of a small hotel room, his face twisted with hatred. The once proud cousin of Henry, who used to wear expensive suits and drive company cars, now wore cheap shirts and smelled of sweat and frustration. He slammed his fist on the table and muttered to himself, "They removed food from my mouth." Me? Gerald Williams? After all I did for that company? After all I sacrificed? That bush girl entered our family like a snake, and now I've lost everything. They will pay. All of them. He picked up his cracked phone and dialed a number. "Hello, it's time. I want you to bring the explosives. No more delay." His plan was madness. He had teamed up with one of Edwin Naji's men, and together they wanted to destroy Henry completely. Their target was the new company headquarters Henry had just launched in Lagos. The grand opening was just 2 days away. Important people from all over the country were coming. If the building was destroyed, Henry's reputation would be finished, and people would blame him for negligence. Gerald grinned. "They will cry the way I cried. Amara will beg on her knees. Her child will grow up with nothing. And Henry will lose everything." But what Gerald didn't know was that Henry had already suspected he might try something foolish. Ever since Gerald was fired, Henry had hired private security to monitor him quietly. One of the guards had followed him to the hotel and reported everything. Meanwhile, Edwin Naji had his own wicked plans. He wanted to kidnap Amara and baby Nathaniel, not for ransom, but to break Henry's spirit forever. "The boy is his future," Edwin told one of his men. "If I take that away, I win." They hired 2 dangerous criminals and began planning their move. But just like Gerald, Edwin didn't know he was already under surveillance. The night before the attack, both Gerald and Edwin received packages at their separate hideouts. Inside each package was a fake invitation to a final planning meeting with new partners. It was a trap. As they arrived at the meeting point, an abandoned warehouse, they were both shocked to see soldiers, police, and Henry himself standing in front of them. Gerald tried to run, but he was tackled to the ground. Edwin remained frozen in disbelief. Henry walked up slowly. "You were my cousin, Gerald. You had everything, but it wasn't enough." Gerald screamed as they dragged him away. "I'll come back. I'll destroy you. You hear me? I'll come back." Henry turned to Edwin. "And you? You tried to break my family, but you failed." The officers handcuffed Edwin. He didn't speak. He just stared at Henry with cold, evil eyes. But deep down, he knew it was over. His name was ruined, his power gone. The law had caught up with him at last. The news of the arrest spread like wildfire. Headlines read, "Billionaire Henry Williams escapes deadly plot from cousin and business rival." That same week, Henry visited the prison to look Gerald in the eyes one last time. Gerald sat across the glass, pale and tired. "Why did you do it?" Henry asked quietly. Gerald looked down. "Because I thought it should have been me, not you." Henry shook his head. "Envy will always destroy those who carry it. Goodbye, Gerald." He walked away and never looked back. Back at the mansion, peace returned at last. The air felt lighter. The fear was gone. Amara was in the garden when someone slowly approached behind her. "Amara." She turned. It was Mrs. Williams, Henry's mother. She looked different. No pride in her eyes, just guilt. "Can we talk?" she asked. Amara stood up, a little surprised. Mrs. Williams took a deep breath. I was wrong. I judged you harshly. I called you names. I disrespected your mother. I let pride blind me. But you stood strong. You never insulted me. You never cursed me. You stood by my son when even I couldn't. And I want to say, I'm sorry. Tears fell from her eyes. Please, Amara, forgive me. Amara felt her own tears coming. She stepped closer. Ma, I forgave you a long time ago. I was just waiting for you to find peace within yourself. Mrs. Williams hugged her for the first time, a warm motherly hug. I was scared, Amara, scared that my son was going to forget me. But now I see, you gave him peace. You made him a better man. From that day forward, things changed. Mrs. Williams became softer, more kind, especially to Amara's mother, whom she now invited for tea and long walks. The mansion that once felt like a battlefield now felt like a home. Henry and Amara renewed their vows one sunny afternoon in a beautiful garden ceremony. This time, not out of duty or pressure, but out of love. Pure, tested love. As they exchanged rings, Henry whispered, I didn't find you by accident. Life brought you to me to show me what real love looks like. Amara smiled, tears in her eyes. And I didn't lose my dignity when I entered your world. I found my voice. In that moment, surrounded by family, friends, and the lessons life had taught them, Henry and Amara knew. Their story had been hard, but their love had won. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.